What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, in another day, and look what happened. Yes, sir, we've been anticipating this day. Is it over, though? That is the question. But before we get started, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Now, what a day indeed has it been. The market started to finally pull back, and even after hours it looks like we are selling a bit more. But how far exactly will it go? That's the ultimate question. We have lots of good news. I've talked about this over the past couple of days. I was anticipating this move. This is why I have been going liquid as much as possible, trying to play as minimally as possible. Being said, how far do we get? We dropped actually pretty good today, to be honest. Let's just actually get right into the charts today. Today there's some setups, but mostly I want to kind of go over the market ultimately. So being said, as you had seen today, we came out. We have been struggling, to be honest. It's really been struggling to push up. It's like just before we sell off, we get these little pops. And then today we finally saw the candle that brought it down. Again, I am still holding all my positions. I'm still in U. I still in very good butcher, and there's another one I bought today as well. Another penny stock I bought today. So I mainly 2 pennies, and I have the one U play, which I have shares and a leap in, and I am also looking at. That's pretty much all I played today. Also, yeah, I did take a Tesla scalp as well. I caught it on the bounce perfectly. I think I grabbed it at like 816. It bounced nicely. Try to re-grab it at around 800. I think it came down to like 801, and I barely missed it. I would have had another nice scalp out of that, another nice bounce. Missed it, but it's okay. I didn't want to get too greedy about it, so I took it off and just let it ride. And that was pretty much it today. I have some orders set for the next couple days, just trying to feel out how far we're going to go down. But as of right now, we're only down 1.22%. So not really. That's really not much of a pullback. If we're looking at 5, again, 5 to, let me pull this out further here. Let me get some more down here. Now I did talk about this briefly as well. I mean, if you're really looking at like a 10% drop, you're looking way down here at 355. Is that possible? I mean, anything is possible. 355 at this point kind of seems like a pretty big correction if that does happen. Again, right now, I think a lot of it is the fact that, I mean, there's still so much good news. We do have earnings. I think what we might see is maybe just even a 5%. I know we had like a 5% correction here. I think was pretty close to a 5% here. And let me see here. So the bottom of that, yeah, that was close to 5 there. So 10% correction would put us in this purple zone down here. Which I've talked about and why I marked this off. Actually, I actually put the mark down here in this green zone. Sorry, but I don't think we're going to drop that far. I mean, you have daily. You look at your daily support here, right? Is at 382. Even this double the 50. So you got your 20 and your 50, which the market tends to balance pretty well off of those. Maintain well off this 20 and the 50. It's not often you see a break down below that and bounce off the 200. If it is, it's pretty short-lived for the most part. We have some breaks, but they bounce back pretty quick. But being said, a 10% correction from here, I mean, it is March. It's hard to really see that. I'm going to be honest. We did have that 5, maybe another 5, maybe a 10. I mean, we're not going to just tank. That's my thing. I think we might bleed off a little bit. but the market is just changing in general. If you've traded for any amount of time, you notice the market always changes. And with a lot of the new influx of money and new traders in the market, it's a new animal. You have a lot of older traders that I think are, they're calling this whole thing a bubble, but then you have someone like Cathie Woods who essentially talks about this being just innovation, and that all this is going to be normal, that essentially your growth stocks are going to separate from your value stocks, and to understand that value stocks are going to eventually die off here. A lot of them will. It's not saying all of them will, but a good chunk of them will, or their profits aren't going to be anywhere close to those things that are innovating and changing our lives every day. And we're seeing that with things like Tesla and Bitcoin and planters, and you're seeing that with just a bunch of different things, right? In genomic space as well, right? And CRISPR and all those other different ones. And there's a lot out there. So being said, the market, I'm not sure. I'm not trying to go heavy. I'm trying to give it another day, let it sell. I do see us. I was actually surprised we didn't come and test the 200 moving average today. I was kind of watching that. I wanted to get in a position for a bounce overnight if it does do that. Even like tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit the 200 at this 386. Well, actually, it'll probably be the bottom of the zone by tomorrow. So 386.80. So if it hits that tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice bounce out of that, possibly pump overnight. But right now, I mean, it's normal, right? I think everything that's going on, there's no real news. I missed what Powell had said today, but I don't think he said anything really negative. I think he talked about inflation a little bit today. I briefly caught some essential chatter about the fact that there will be inflation possibly by the end of the year. Being said, that's still a long ways away. And I think the current president and everything is not going to push taxes or anything like that until a lot of this stuff is completely gone. And Powell has even stood by that. So being said, I think this is going to be the slow bleed offs like this. And again, with a lot of the new traders a lot of new traders are just buying this up. So being said, just be mindful. I am not going heavy at all. I do have U right now. I got a pretty decent position in there, but it is holding well. And so that's one thing to keep in mind when going through these stocks, is to find those particular stocks. When this is coming down, what stocks are holding? Because as soon as the market turns around in general, all those particular stocks that are holding are going to rocket back up. QQQ looks mirror image. QQQ actually hit the 200 today. But I think the biggest thing is tech is just taking us down. Tesla started falling finally today. And I think that's ultimately what's leading the way here. I didn't take a position in this. This is my one I would really like to add to, but I still feel like it's going to come down. You have this trend line here. I wouldn't be surprised. I would love to get it at that 740. I am not really sure if we're going to come down that far. That would essentially put us at the 50 moving average, so 752-ish. We would get a nice bounce off of that. But like I've stated before, if you watched my older videos, you're going to get a good bounce off this 50, but then it's going to retest the 20. And typically what happens is it will sell off again after that point. So you just get a retest back to the 20, and then it goes sell off. So if you're in a position here, you find yourself here down at the 50, you can expect when it goes back up to the 20, you probably need to sell your position because it's going to probably tank lower than that. Just being said, diamond hands does not work all the time. So being said, Tesla, I'm waiting. I almost took a position here, but I really felt this can't be it. There's a lot more earnings, but being said, big tech, like I've been talking about, big tech has been wanting to sell. Square is holding up again, I think just because of earnings. I think that's the only reason it's holding the zone right now. I stated this yesterday as well, that this might actually sell off a little bit. So you might see it back down here to this 245 mark, until earnings does come, and then you'll get some direction at that point if the market doesn't completely crap out. Being said, Airbnb had a nice little push today, sold right back off, and then pulled right back up. I haven't been playing this. I've been wanting this to pull back. Apple, just a lot of sideways garbage. Like I said, big tech has just been a lot of sideways garbage. Facebook has kind of been the same, right? Like it had that news yesterday, and then now it's just kind of the Shopify news yesterday, and then now it's kind of just trading sideways. I think that's the only reason it's up there, or else you would see all this junk right here down at this level. BYND, sideways junk. Etsy, everything. If you look at every ticker is about the same. It's just sideways junk. I think we're just waiting for earnings to be over, and then there'll be a sell-off. Like I said, I'm in this. The reason I think that why this is holding so well, because it already took a big hit with the earnings, but I still think it is still prime. If it holds here, the market turns around and reverses, I think this thing is gone. And that's what I'm talking about, looking for ones that are like this, that have already been beaten down after this pullback and are kind of holding. Those are the kinds that you want. So those are the kinds I look for and try to get in, because I know as soon as the market reverses, these things are gone. Being said, Planter, I am looking at this one. I didn't get a position in this one. I am waiting for this 3120 mark-ish around there. As I'm waiting for the zone. If it does get in the zone, I'll be in Planters. Shares, nothing crazy heavy, but decent size. And NDM is the same thing. I have a buy order actually sitting in here as well. This 1333 mark around there. So if this does sell off into there, I will take a decent position there. And then OX, Nano X Imaging. Kind of waiting on this. It's not a bad ticker, but it's not my favorite. I realize they're essentially trying to sell the service, which is fine and dandy for the X-ray machine. That's anything. If you're in any kind of business, you know, the best kind of business model to go with is selling a service, right? Having that reoccurring revenue every month is nice, and just bringing that to this particular thing is why I think this is blowing up so much. This particular one, this wick, I didn't even realize this came down. I didn't even realize at all. It was a quick wick, obviously, because I didn't catch this one, or so I would try to grab this today. This is one of the ones essentially selling a high tide, selling MJ equipment, or not equipment, but all your accessories with MJ. So that's why I like this one. They have a proven model and a good management, as opposed to whatever the other one was. I can't recall, the SNDL one. So being said, this one, again, I'm waiting for a pullback on this. We'll see what happens. I like this for the long haul. So again, I've been waiting on this pullback. So I want to kind of see how far. Planet 13 makes me sick because I sold way too early on this one. But it's all good. Again, I don't know if this is going to pull back with the way the MJ space has been going. That's really been just tearing up. And so I think Planet 13 is finally catching up with everything. The Very Good Butcher, I'm still holding this one. I like this one. This one is just ready at any moment. Again, they're supposed to go over to the new Toronto exchange. When that happens, I think this is really going to jet. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about that $7 mark. I wouldn't be surprised if this just gaps and starts running at any moment. PLTR, I actually took a position in this today. Nothing too crazy, but I like this company, right? I put enough. My risk is in the position size in this one. So I didn't get too crazy with this one, but I had enough to make some decent money if this does decide to run. Possibly going for a longer swing on this one, because of the fact that essentially it's the Amazon of plant-based. So if you don't know anything about this ticker, I highly advise that you look this up. They sell all plant-based products, anything from vegan meats and stuff like that, plant-based stuff, to actual plants. So they're trying to be the one for all that space on this site. So that's what I found really intriguing about this one. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I wanted to get a position in this, but ultimately I do like this one for the long haul for the year. I think this is renewables, everything healthy for yourself, just redefining a lot of things. This ticker is just going nuts. And I can't believe I sold this. I actually had this way down here at 4, but I've said that many times. I need to actually hold CRISPR. I do like just trading sideways right now. The genomic space is hard. Like I said, you got to keep up with a lot of. That's why I don't like to trade it, because of the fact that any news, any bad negative news in this thing can tank 50% quick. I mean, given any ticker, it can do that, but it's just more. I think your odds are higher with anything in the therapeutic or genomic space. That's why I just like to trade the ARC index on that, essentially. TAN, no. I went through a lot of these. ENPH had that great earnings. Now it's selling off. I don't want it until it gets to that 171 mark again. Also, same with STPK. I like this ticker a lot too. It had that nice run, waiting to see if it comes down here. If it does, I'll be waiting for it. The best thing is just to wait for those major supports. It hits the support, load the boat, right? Again, but you do have to do your due diligence. You do have to understand what that ticker does, right, in the space that it's in. If you have absolutely no idea, don't even buy that ticker. Like, don't go off of what people are saying or anything like that. The next hot ticker, it can be GameStop, and then you whole account the thing, and then you lose your life savings. It's not where you want to be at. Being said, always manage your risk, whether position size, whatever the case is. I typically go position size in what I initially want to do going into that position, whether I know it's going to be a swing or not. Being said, NGA actually looks good here. If we can tag back into this zone and stay here, if there's market bleed off, I want to get back into this. Again, I feel like we could run to 40 as long as this thing doesn't bleed out too much. It has to hold this this 2255 mark. So I'm watching this one as well. Let me see here. There's a couple of random tickers that actually had some really good setups that I wanted to. I mean, the chips look like they're getting ready to start pushing back up again. I'm not a fan of the chips. Riots, BA, nothing. There was a couple tickers. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which ones that they are. I was like, oh yeah, Fastly was one of them. Fastly looks good. It's trading in the space right now. It's currently holding 200 in the zone. Could have a nice pop back up to 120. So that could be another one you could look at. Again, keep in mind where the market's at. Manage your risk essentially in size right now, because if for some reason you take a position in this and it pops up, hits the 20 and the 50, the market sells off, this thing's definitely coming down and going to break that 200, and then you're going to see a lot more selling. Qualcomm, this is one I've been looking at too. This is a good one. There's good setup. It's been holding here. 5G play for the year. I think if you can grab a leap out of this, if it doesn't sell off too much, I think this would be a fantastic leap call on Qualcomm. If it holds here, again, you don't want it to fall too far. There's a lot of leeway. I mean, you can come back down to the 141. Ultimately, I think that's what I'm kind of waiting for, is if it can hit that 141 and take a position there. If it falls below that, you're going to definitely have a big drop to 132. So just be aware of that. But I would much rather have it down here. If it does hit below this zone, I'm more apt to take a position on this one. I do like Qualcomm for the 5G play going later on this year. Let's see what else we have. ATVI, Activision. It's another good one. With all that sell-off, it's been holding well. Like U has been. U's been holding really well throughout this drop. Activision, again, is another one that's holding well here. If we do get a breakout here, we might be able to see some running. So that can be another one you can look at. Peloton was another one. It is holding here well. It did have profitable earnings. I don't know what was bad. Again, it could be forward guidance, pandemic possibly ending, all that stuff. Maybe that's why that dropped like that. But nonetheless, They're kind of steering away from the bikes, and they're just going to more of the app and the workouts and all that stuff. So the fundamentals are still solid with this company. So if you want to pull a leap out of here, as long as it doesn't break this zone and fail here, as long as it holds well here, I think this is a good play here as well. I actually want to get into this at some point. There's a lot of plays I would really like to just grab leaps, but I don't like to be spread out too much. But again, if it's one of those things that you do like, Rocket, I do like Rocket, but when it's in the zone, when it hits that with that 1973 mark, once it gets to that point, really below 20, I want to start looking at it, because you have these explosive moves back up to this 24 mark. So you got a $4 coverage here. So it gets in the zone. Grab a leap for 20. I haven't really looked at the leaps, but if you grab a leap for 24 and just watch that bad boy carry on. Let's see, what else do I have? SNDL. I just talk about this in that other company, but this one's been just ripping. I mean, anything that's associated with the MJ space has just been out of control. So this one's definitely caught some wind. I'm trying to think what else I had here. AMC, I know there's a lot of calls been coming back into this, and I overheard Kathy Wood say the other day, and I know this has been pumped from Wall Street's bets or whatever, but I have been hearing Kathy Wood say that AMC is dead. In my opinion, it is not. I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people that have money, have power, that will not let AMC just vanish off the face of the earth. I think it's vital to our society, right? It's good to go out and watch a movie instead of being home all the time. But I can see where Kathy Wood is coming from in the fact that once we go virtual reality, this won't mean anything. So I can see her forward thinking on this. But in the short term, I still think AMC could be a strong recovery stock at this point. Being said, I'm not saying load the boat. And I mean, this stock was once at 40 before the pandemic. Now, being said, I think this could be a good play. Again, this is just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But and then something else I wanted to kind of talk about. I think I had one more ticker in here. There is one last ticker that I wanted to talk about. I can find it. It's definitely not that one. I mean, I know what the ticker is. I'm just looking for it. Why don't you just type it in? Okay, well, I'll just type it in. WWF. It's not WWF anymore. WWE. This stock, I've played this stock many times. You may like wrestling, you may not. But one thing I've noticed is this stock, it runs very well and holds the options contracts actually hold great value in these things. And WWE is sitting at a good support right now. As long as it doesn't break below this, this one could go running. I think especially during the summer, everybody's got all that money that's pent up and ready to go spend some money on venues and events this summer, trying to get out and mingle with everybody. It's going to be a huge space this summer. People are going to be doing all kinds of stuff, spending all kinds of money this summer. I really don't see how it's not going to happen like that. Everybody's getting vaccinated. There's a lot of different things going on. I think herd immunity in general is kind of already been there. Being said, summer's going to be big, and I think this one could explode. I think looking at a call or leap for this, as long as it holds here and the market doesn't sell off and this start breaking down. I mean, if it breaks down, it's even better because you can possibly get a better position on this. But right now it's holding. But if it does hold this through the next couple of days and weeks, whatever the case is, I'm definitely looking at grabbing a leap out of this because I like WWE. Again, I've played this a couple of times, made some great percentages out of this. I think I've hit a couple hundreds, if not 200s out of this percentage-wise. Again, it's pretty steady on its moves. It's nothing too erratic, and the contracts hold well. So being said, that is pretty much what I got for you guys. Remember, if you guys do enjoy the video, to hit the like button on the way out and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Manage your risk, be safe, and make that money. And I will see you guys tomorrow.